Hey Kinfolk, so I got it sealed up with all the linseed oil and I've got a lot done so far, and the one thing that I'm waiting on now is the canvas. Now the canvas is going to show up tomorrow at the end of the day, like 8 p.m. So I'm going to have to drive out to the location that, where the distribution center is and grab it. And it means I might have to be sewing all day and all night just to get a canvas over this wagon, so I can use it as a little cabin. So hey, let me give you a tour of what I've done so far, so that way you can I can actually show you what I'm doing. So all right, here goes. So for the frame, I had put some one-hole straps in to hold it in place. So these will just come out and will just fold into the bed here. And so yeah, these are just 1-inch one-hole straps. I probably could have gotten 3/4, but some of the sticks are a little bit fatter at the bottom. And yeah, I got some 3/4 screws going to the 3/4 board here, because ultimately anything thicker is just going to have a screw sticking out the other side, and people are going to be inside that, and I don't want screws cutting them up. So in order to keep the stick from coming all the way through, is I just put a masonry nail down there. Now masonry nails are just hardened steel nails, so they don't bend at all. And yeah, they'll come out real easy. So any kind of downward force or any kind of shearing force, this isn't going to bend. And it'll snap before that, but we're talking hundreds of pounds of pressure. And this little stick is not going to give that kind of pressure. So with the frame, I just went out and just cut down a bunch of maple saplings, and tried to get some interesting looking ones here with the vines on it that cause it to kind of have the spiral groove in the wood. Also, they're very easily bendable and they're really light. So yeah, and it was free. So I just go out in the woods, cut them down, bring them in. And yeah, I put these in here to help kind of create more of a pointed arch, and that's the aesthetic that I was going for. Not only that, it adds a bit more space and more volume inside this tent, this canopy. So I could just come in here and kind of low walk in there. And this is what's going to support the canvas, obviously. So just gotta wait on the canvas to show up, and then we can start making that happen. And I've got plenty of other sticks, so we can convert the tent into an awning over both sides of the wagon. And so I just used jute twine to tie these together, as it will stretch and it'll absorb water, and it'll get a little tighter on this when if it gets wet, which I don't think it will. But yeah, that's what's holding all this together. And jute twine is super cheap, and it's pretty tough stuff. I used it on my yurt build, so you guys should check that one out, and just how well that's held together over the course of a year now, or a couple of years. So that's basically the tour of the wagon, of what we've gotten done so far. And we have just a bit more to go, and then we're good. So while I'm waiting for my canvas to show up, I need to do a few minor little improvements. So the iron ring around the wheels, or the steel ring, there's gaps in the wood and the steel where the wheel's not exactly flat, and right above it is the steel. Now, steel will cut you, and I tried to dull them as best I could, but there's only so much I can do. So what I'd like to do is seal up any of those gaps with some Gorilla Glue, because it'll expand. I can carve off whatever's not Gorilla Glue, and that'll kind of keep hands from, or a little bit of skin from getting into that void and slicing fingers and whatnot. I don't think it will happen, but I'm always thinking about little things like that to make sure that people are comfortable around this. And I don't want people just run their hand down this wheel and have a big old cut on it. That's not something that I want, and you guys don't want that either. So yeah, I also, on the tiller, the handle seems to be sliding in and out of that tiller, so we got to fix that. And yeah, I think a lot of it's just going to be a waiting game after that. And so, that's right, I got to get a seat, a long board. So I got some live edge wood that I'm about to cut down to length, so it'll fit just nicely right across this edge here. so people can climb in and sit down in the wagon. I can pull them to and from places, and yeah, that's the idea. That's one of the major things about this. So, all right, break time's over. Let's get to it. Still wobbles, but not coming out. That's a good thing. Okay, so the Gorilla Glue didn't work, and ultimately it didn't get into all the little cracks, and there's some pretty big gaps around here. And so I'm just going to scrape the glue off and try a different approach. It did kind of round off the edges a bit, but it will still cut you. Hey Kinfolk, so it's done. I got it done just in time for the event. And the only thing I'm gonna do today is just pack this bad boy up into the van and pack up the rest of my stuff in there and then take the rest of the day off and then go to the event tomorrow. So yeah, I worked way into the night, 10 o'clock, to get it all done. And here it is. So there's of course everything, you're never gonna do it perfectly the first time. There's gonna be certain things that just are not going to work well. You think they will, but eventually something pops up and you're like, oh, they didn't work out as well as I'd like. And of course there will be things in the future where I will be adjusting things and making things better and a little bit easier on myself. So yeah, why don't I give you a tour of what I did yesterday, because it got so dark I couldn't shoot, and I'm going to show you guys what I did. So hold on a second. Okay, so I moved the straps from this side to this side, and I bent the one-hole straps over to screw into this side so I can get as close to this corner as I can. Reason being was that this top piece here it was too narrow on the inside of the wagon, so I decided to move them out, and I'm glad I did. It definitely added a lot more real estate to the whole wagon, and so yeah, it did leave a few spots on the back side here, but we'll take care of that. Okay, so one of the things I added last night was this awning, and I really just cut down some maple sticks and make sure that there was like a little branch there where it would just catch the frame like that. And the top here has a grommet. Oh, come on, just come on. Has a grommet right there that goes into the top of this stick. And one thing you got to do is just unhook it here, unhook it here, and bam, it's done. And then when I need to bring it back up, put it back in, and then you're good. You got some shade, you got a little bit of rain, shelter, there you go. And that's a pretty easy deal. I just lashed this together with some cordage I had, and eventually I'm going to have to notch the wood, both pieces, so they fit together a little bit better, so they kind of like lock in like that. And so yeah, but this works for now. Any strong winds probably won't last very well, but I probably won't have this up during strong winds. Okay, so I got the zippers on, and I made sure that I sewed a little bit extra of a flap on there so it'll cover the zipper, so it not only hides it but keeps the rain or wind from kind of cutting through the zipper and getting inside and making everything colder. As you can tell, it's not very form-fitting, and I'm thinking about getting another panel sewn just for this side, and it's also very tight. It's very difficult to close up sometimes, but there's a bit of a trick to it. Pull up on this side and it'll go down. The problem also is there's no tab on the inside of the zipper, to where it's much easier to zip it up from the outside than from the inside. And so also, if you look on the side here, it sags a lot in the middle. We're going to have to put another frame piece coming down the side, and yeah, that'll just have to happen, just because I'm sagging so bad right there, and I'm losing a little bit of like wall space. So yeah, so as you can see, it's a lot of room in here, and it's much easier to enter in from this side than from the front, although I got to get a little step ladder or something for people to step on to get in here. But yeah, this is basically it. I have a little shelf I can put all my stuff on, my shoes and my keys and all that stuff, and I can just lay out right here at night and just close this bad boy up and we're good to go. Alright, so that's basically the tour. So now I just got to take everything apart and put it back into that van. So the only thing I have to do is just take off the canopy, real easy. I got to take off the wheels, not so easy, and detach the front steering column and slide the whole thing into the van. So that's basically all I got to do. And then once I get to the vent, put everything back in reverse and put it together, and then I'm good to go. So that's basically it for this episode, is just trying to get it all finished up in time for the event. And so yeah, if you guys like this episode, give me a like, sub to the channel, and do all that good stuff. Also, if you did enjoy this episode and it was entertaining and it was helpful to you to build you one of these, go to my Ko-Fi and buy me a coffee, or go to my Patreon and consider being a supporter. I have lots of benefits that you might want to take a part of. And also my Etsy shop. My Etsy shop is definitely someplace that you need to stop to check out some really cool swag. I've got all sorts of live edge olive wood cutting boards, olive wood spatulas, and ladles. Thinking of ladles and cups and mugs and all sorts of cool stuff. So go over there and check it out. And anything you buy there goes to the channel. So you're getting something out of it. I'm getting something out of it. Everybody wins. So that's all I got for you. I'm going to send you home with a be humble, be helpful, and be honorable. Thanks for watching.